Hey guys, here we are, the Quiggin Out MMA Podcast, episode 19, and I'm here with Carlos Peppercrotch and the 21st century John L. Sullivan, also known as Eddie Wineland and Tom Shoaff. How we doing, gentlemen?
Doing awesome.
We're doing glorious.
Absolutely excellent.
So, I already said this once, but if you all didn't know, Tom just fought bare knuckle last week, and I want you to look at his face, because it really doesn't look like you were in a fight. Now, if I pull up a picture of Joe Elmore, we're going to have a different story altogether.
Let's see the other guy, because that dude was freaking wrecked.
Yeah, he got something like 20-plus stitches in six different locations.
And here.
Yeah.
Over there, man. Looked like
there were cuts all over the place. It was a good performance for both of us, and that's all I really have to say about that. I'm just fortunate to get out with the less of the the damage.
Well, and it's funny because I saw you before the fight and I saw you after, and there really wasn't much of a difference. Where there was another fight, and I'm sorry, Abby Velasquez, dude, his face blew up like in Star Trek when they give him like it literally went from regular to just.
Yeah, he was looking very similar to what's her name, the little tiny one that fought. Oh goodness, Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Oh yeah,
her face.
She
looked like
red on her forehead.
Looked like Klingon. Yeah, that was that experience.
I just want to talk about how we're all nerds and just made Star Trek references.
At least we've all seen it.
I had never seen a Star Trek movie before the new ones came out, so
I haven't seen it. I'll be honest.
Eddie, you're missing out, man. Those new ones are good. All three of them are pretty stellar.
I've heard, but maybe one day.
All right,
I'll be honest, dude. I haven't seen Star Wars. I haven't seen any Star Wars.
What?
That's fair. I think I've seen episode 1.
It's crazy. I tell someone that and they all freak out. What? I've never seen Star Wars.
Matt is offended right now.
That's what we're here. I'm telling you, dude. There's offense number 1. I'm gonna offend some people today. I guarantee it. It's gonna happen.
Perfect.
Well,
all right. So wait, hold on. Okay, go ahead, Matt. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
Listen, John.
I was just gonna say we gotta get back to this quarter pounder and Dr. Pepper story.
Yes. All right. So
I want to know why you haven't had a quarter pounder and a Dr. Pepper in 8+ years.
So for anybody who wasn't here, and by anybody who wasn't here, I mean the three of us who were only here. Eddie said he hasn't had a pop because I had to think about what that meant since 2012. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Pop, what am I supposed to call it? Well, Tom decided to flash his Coca-Cola that he's drinking and said he hadn't had one in months. So I obviously had to one-up him, and I haven't had one since my Brad Pickett fight in 2012, December 2012. After every fight, I would nix the McDonald's, and for whatever reason, I had a hankering for a quarter pounder and a Dr. Pepper after every fight. It had to be ice cold, and that was the last one ever. I don't know. I hit a button. I mean, 2 years ago, I haven't had any candy bars. I got rid of all that. I'm actually eating more plant-based diet now. I mean, I didn't start eating vegetables until I was 26, but I swear to God, dude, I would when I was training for Antonio Banuelos, my diet consisted of fast food and pizza. I mean, I ate like complete dog shit. I ate like an asshole up until I was about 26 years old. I think 26 was the first time I ever ate anything green in my entire life. Once my mom, she got diagnosed with stage 4 lung, breast, and bone cancer, yada, yada, yada. Did a little bit of research on it and realized that cancer feeds on sugar. So I slowly started getting rid of the sugar and then just kicked it all together. I mean, not saying I don't eat sugar, but it's in like granola bars and not a candy bar. So anybody who knows me knows that I'm a Reese's fiend. I haven't had
Reese's or cups?
Peanut butter cups.
Okay.
The big cups. The big cups with the PCs in them, dude. Big cups with the PCs in them. That's it.
Just so you know, Eddie, if we ever hang out, I might show up with those.
Well, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You're gonna have to eat them all yourself, though. I haven't had them in 2 years.
I'm just gonna leave them.
I haven't had one in 2 years. I will sit there and watch you eat them, and I might shame you a little bit.
God. And here I thought the only thing I was going to get shamed on was the mustache, but jeez.
No, I said you still got facial hair. At least you got facial hair. You know, there's a name for a man without facial hair, and it's called a woman.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, the bearded lady.
I'm lying about that.
The beard, mustache, even soul patch, whatever it is, man.
Yeah, but there was the bearded lady in the circus. I mean, come on.
Well, she might be a man. What if she's got a giant clit?
You might be onto something, Eddie. You might be onto something, bro.
All right, so Eddie has offended multiple people at this point.
I told you, dude. I'm in it. I'm in it. Let's do it.
I'm excited. This is good. This is gonna be so much fun.
It already is so much fun. What are you talking about?
So Eddie stopped eating all of his candies and cleaned up his diet, and now he's ripped like Jesus. I don't know if you've ever seen this guy's strength and conditioning videos, but it like hurts my heart because he's just like in his basement, like, yeah, I'm just gonna get this quick workout in, and I'm like, that's more than I did all week. Like I haven't swung a kettlebell that many times in months. You are pissing me off right now.
Gotta stay busy. Gotta stay busy.
Well,
yeah.
And between the two of you, you know, making this actually like connect, like Tom, with what you're doing right now in bare knuckle, do you feel there's a different element of training versus Eddie having to fight and having to work on all the aspects? Do you feel like some of your training? Oh, look at this! Oh, look at this!
Is he here?
Is he coming?
Did he make it?
Oh my God!
Hold on one second.
Perfect.
All right, hold on. No, I'm gonna remove him because he said, "Hold on a second."
Fair enough. Yeah, no, there's absolutely a difference in the training, man, and it's exactly what you said. You know, I have one facet of the sport that I really have to focus on, and that's striking. I don't have kicks, I don't have elbows, I don't have knees. We get to work in the clinch, but I don't really work in the clinch for my style.
No.
So I'm just all about throwing long shots, you know. So I really only have one thing that I have to focus on. That being said, I never stopped training MMA. It hasn't happened once. I've still been working on my jiu-jitsu. I go up to American Elite. They've got a team of 40-something professionals, and I go up and train with them twice a week on the days that I go do my boxing and stuff like that. So as far as my MMA is concerned, that game hasn't really changed with the exception of getting better. The one thing that I am seriously lacking is your strength and conditioning program. I actually made myself go to Freedom Fitness and get myself a gym membership so that I could at least go pick up heavy stuff again. But the one thing I'm seriously lacking in my game right now is a solid strength and conditioning program. I actually tried to convince our coach, my old coach, Eddie's coach, Gussick, Jason Gussick.
So what you're really saying is what you're lacking is Jason.
Yes, precisely. He messaged me before the fight, and he's like, hey, man, how can I help? And I was like, well, you could have moved down here and trained me a couple of weeks ago, but, you know, it's a little late for that. But, yeah, that's really what I'm missing, man, is Jason. But to get back to the original question, as far as the training is concerned, the strength and conditioning portion of it, I'm sure Jason would have me doing the same stuff he would have me do if I were training for an MMA fight, in reference of it being miserable and me hating it the entire time. Stylistically, it would change, but as far as how much I hate doing those workouts, that's not going to change. You know, that misery is always going to be there.
100%, dude. What he's talking about, the strength and conditioning workouts that Jason puts us through. I'll go through 10 fights before going through 10 of those workouts, or even 5 of those workouts. Those workouts, they are absolute sucky. And the thing that sucks the most is you're moving this heavy weight, and it's nothing but you. You don't have to worry about anybody hitting you in the face. So if you don't get the work out of it, it's because you didn't put the work into it. So
right.
You have to break a mental block there of knowing that you're not going to get hit in the face, but you need to get yourself as tired as humanly possible in the first few seconds of this round and then survive the rest of the round. It's absolutely terrible.
All right. On that note, we're adding our 4th member.
Yay! He made it.
Damn, man, where'd that beard come from?
Always switched it up on it.
He's had a beard for a while now.
I know, but it looks so much better. I don't think he can hear me.
Uh-oh.
Oh, well, I mean, I can hear you. I'm just I don't know. But yeah, I've had a beard for a long time. It got real long for a while. I went like full homeless looking person.
Mhm.
Like one of those guys that like is freshly a year homeless, Like that's kind of how it looked. My hair and my beard, I think.
I mean, I was pretty close to that on Friday. Tom can tell you. Like last week, it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, he came walking past me, and I was like,
"Well, listen, let's talk about the fact that I'm like, what's up, Tom?" And I realize I have a mask on, so this is all he's seeing. So.
Yeah, just a mask, and then just like homeless hair sticking out the side.
Yeah.
Like,
hi. What was the meme? The underwear ad from the 70s?
To that one more time. What about underwear?
That meme that came out with the whole mask thing. It's the underwear ad from the 1970s. Women's underwear ad.
Gross.
Well, you got that image burned in your head.
Yeah, right? Shit.
Well, for those of you who aren't watching, Ian McCall joined us. If you don't recognize that lovely voice that is kind of contributing. Are you driving?
Now it's getting darker. So I need to put my glasses on and see. Yes, I'm a different. No one knows who I am anymore. I wear glasses. I look different. I have a beard. I don't hang out. I don't do anything anymore besides study or teach stuff. I'm a scientific researcher now, so I just do other stuff. I don't know. I don't see many people. It's kind of nice.
Well, and it's funny. We were talking about before we started, and you know this because we've been talking for years. But the first live UFC event I saw had 2 out of the 3 people on here besides myself. Both Eddie and yourself fighting. And I remember we talked about it, and I don't know if I talked about this on the other episode, but I'm going to do it anyways. There was a certain individual who said we were going to do an interview. And then he decided the day of to cancel. And I secretly wished that his opponent would knock him out. And Eddie, how did that work out for you?
That's Eddie's a dick. I'm a nice person. I've always have been. That shows right there. I've always been.
No, it wasn't Eddie. It was his opponent.
Oh, it was his opponent. Oh, okay, never mind. I was just trying to take a dig. I was trying to take a dig at my friend.
Dig all you want, buddy. Dig all you want.
You actually won, so whatever. It doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, you won the first one, so there shouldn't even been a second one. So let's not even get on that tangent.
Hey.
That was some bullshit.
That's my Al Bundy moment.
That's
what it is.
That was borderline Sakuraba moment. Like, that's what that was.
Yeah, but it's, like...
So, I have a question. You said you're doing scientific research now in... What... Are you being comical, or did you legitimately switch up professions and you're moving on to bigger and better things?
I'm serious. I'm a...
He's a secret agent.
Yeah,
and he can't tell us.
Yeah, the government just jumped in and said, yeah, you can't talk about that. So I don't think he realized. There you go.
I say I work in psychedelics, but what I do is I'm testing the performance benefits in sports with microdosing things like psilocybin mushrooms. And
that's pretty awesome.
People like the UFC know what I'm doing. Jeff Nowitzki loves what I'm doing. And the UFC, like I've shown them business proposals to test their athletes, and
that's awesome.
They can't let me. They can't let me do that because it's a Schedule I substance. They're a U.S. based company, but one day I will be doing it. It's the McCall method. It just has my name on it. It's not just me. It's really myself and really smart people that taught me a bunch of stuff about science, like my fiance, Raina. That's her right there. She's amazing, and she's been a scientist. I get to basically just study all day and learn and talk to the athletes that I work with, and I'm a psychedelic integration coach for high-level athletes and performers. So if you're, if you are fighting, because realistically you can microdose. So you can take magic mushrooms and fight.
Mm-hmm.
They don't test for, so they don't test for it.
Right. No, that is.
They don't even test for LSD, which I just found out. Jeff Nowitzki just told me they don't test for LSD, and I was like, really? I was like, I'm gonna start studying. I'm gonna start doing some studies.
Yeah, that's wild because that's like a steroid.
I've already done the studies, but like it's Microdosing LSD, working out. I've never done a real like where I've really like wrote stuff down, but I've done it, for weeks at a time, and just like, dude, it's crazy. You get a lot done. I mean, you get a lot done.
I can imagine.
It's exhausting. Like, it's like after a week or two, I was so shot out. I had to sleep for the whole weekend.
I like how we went from no more quarter pounders to Dr. Pepper.
If you need like a test subject, you just holler at me, because this sounds right up my alley. Right.
I do. You know what? What happened? This started was me being a test subject on myself, and me understanding the science of things, and then learning more about chemistry and just how everything works in the body and the brain, and how molecules work, and I need people to be in my studies. That's exactly what I need. I'm going to have one very soon. Like I said, it's called the McCall method, and I'll have tablets for people to use. I'll have I'm going to have them tune in there. Either if they're working with some sort of company that makes those strappy thingies, like I have an Aura ring right here. I don't work with them, but I bought it because it's cool. It just tracks my sleep, which is horrible. But it tracks everything else that I do, which is great. But you can, in my study, I just want to see I want to show everyone the performance benefits of my stuff. And right now, I'm looking to do something a little bit different. But I mean, with what I would personally want to do is obviously a psilocybin study, which is what I'm working on. But there's some variations that we can do and pull off because of legal issues with
government entities.
Government stuff.
Yeah.
Well, let me know, my friend. I am thoroughly intrigued, and I think that it's super cool. And if you need a test dummy, we can make this work.
Well, the thing is, I don't.
He's like, I don't know you, motherfucker. That's the thing.
Are you a cop? But no. So I can biohack people enough, as far as cardiovascularly, like with just cordyceps mushroom to blend like that, some sort of mushroom blend, and that's going to also have an anti-inflammation effect on your body. That will do the same sort of stuff. Like we don't need psilocybin specifically, but because that's the next step. We have to take baby steps, gentlemen.
Okay.
So let me do this first. And then, because people are going to be taking psychedelics in mass anyways, and that's the thing is I'm not encouraging people to take them, but they're going to do it anyways. At least be safe about it. Understand that there should be ritual behind it. There should be ceremony behind it. But it's at least be some setting and intention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is especially if you want to be a better fighter. I know the Matrix. I know that. Like I really know that place really well. So to be able to help people get there while they're performing, I wish I could have done this when I was fighting. I mean,
Oh, and there he goes. So.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah. This might be the episode where I talk the least. I like this.
No. Okay, so you can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I understood a little bit about it, but I didn't do it, and I ended my fighting career, addicted to painkillers. I was taking painkillers like in the backstage before my fight. Like it's not healthy. Like I got myself sober through microdosing myself and figuring out how to biohack as much as possible. You know what I mean? And that's what got me through everything. Like that was my story through. That's how I fixed it. It got better, and it was hard. It really wasn't easy.
I believe every bit of that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're moving on to better things and bigger and better stuff, man. That's really exciting. I'm happy that you've found this new blessing in your life. That's awesome.
It's a lot of fun too.
So I'm gonna say it before anybody else does. You're the Dolph Lundgren of MMA. Like you just did that.
What?
He said what?
He's like a chemist. He's not like big and dumb like everybody thinks fighters are.
Oh no! Well, so are the Klitschko's. They've got some awesome. They're very smart.
Listen, It's America.
Oh, Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is also really smart.
Yeah.
So how shame on you thinking we're all stupid like Eddie.
I wish
not all
somebody would
fighters are
accuse me
stupid.
of being smart.
Not me. Listen.
I'm not.
Ever
I'm
accuses
not
me of being
right.
smart.
Yeah. I'm working with some athletes that are on the spectrum for sure, and it's nice because we relate a lot because obviously like I'm on there somewhere, and it's just like I've never been diagnosed. I have no idea. I just am weird, but like to be able to see someone who's so hyper focused on something. Like it's pretty cool. Like I get to work with these people that are so good at stuff, Olympians and professional, all kinds of stuff. So it's
awesome.
fun. It's fun to see like this many people coming around to maybe they're not coming out of the psychedelic closet yet, but they're at least doing it. That's fine. But like pretty much everybody that is doing it wants to come out of the psychedelic closet and talk about it. So that's the key.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Everything that I've read about it, I mean, there's been significant benefits from it. I'm not saying that I'm ready to go pitch a tent in the back and create my own peyote sweat hut, but I wouldn't be opposed.
I've never microdosed peyote, but I've never even taken it. I would like to. But I would have to do it ceremonially. But I have some a Native American, like this bracelet, the shaman that I work with, the church that I work with in San Diego.
Yeah.
He has some relatives that do it, but I'll do it with actual Native Americans because
Sure.
So
yeah,
I have to. That's how I do things.
I was gonna say that's something I didn't realize there was anything you hadn't done, so I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, I haven't even done ayahuasca. Like people think like what? And I'm like, yeah, I respect it too much, and I've been wanting to do it for the last year, and just haven't gotten around to it because COVID or because whatever. But it's gonna happen pretty soon. I'll.
And for those of us who have no idea what you're saying, because it's myself included.
I actually had a trip to Peru, and a 5-day ayahuasca adventure planned out, paid for, and set in, and I freaked out about 2 weeks beforehand and was just like, I'm not ready for that. Like, I'm not ready for 5 days in the forests of Peru with this mystical plant and just spending a couple of days talking to the universe. Like, I'm just not prepared for it. So I wound up canceling my trip about 2 weeks before I was supposed to go. But I feel the same way. There's some things I'm just not prepared for, and that's one of them.
Well, dude, I'm in this world. This is the business I'm in. And I see people that do some things like 5-MeO or Aya, and it just ruins them for months. And I'm like, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
You know something bad. What were you up to? You're naughty. Like what happened? They're just like so confused forever, and I don't know. It's just always a bad sign. So it's like, with Aya, I always had so much respect for it, and I was like, I'm not ready for that. No way. And then finally, over the last year, I became ready, and then it just this clusterfuck, which is COVID, which my life has become so much better. Being able to isolate and not be around people and just read and write and just listen to smart people talk and do cool stuff like science. I love it.
That's awesome. I'm a little jealous, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think I'm smart enough to understand the words of science.
Listen, man,
I respect your charisma and saying so, Eddie.
I have the candidate attitude. I just have the mental capacity for it.
It's all here and the blow dryer.
Right, and the blow dryer.
It's okay.
Ian's like, what are you talking about? That went a whole different direction. I think all three of us were just like, huh?
Oh, that was...
No, like in
really
a good way. Like we're all like getting as close as
Ever since he told me that he was dabbling in the mushroom side of things, and I was kind of intrigued by it. I got a buddy of mine at work who apparently in high school that's all he did to get through high school was a bunch of mushrooms, And when I mentioned mushrooms to him, his eyes got decided. He's like, "Oh, yes, let's do it." So he knows all about it. He said the same thing, the microdosing, like you said, Ian. He didn't say, go out and just hammer as many shrooms as you can. It's the microdosing. And he said that his cheeks always hurt afterwards because he just couldn't stop smiling. He was always happy.
Well,
Yeah,
see, that's
right.
where the magic happens. So this is what I'll do with a client. I say I always want people to get to know the medicine, the fungus, the plant, whatever it is first, really well with a large one, to deal with the addictions and the traumas and all that sort of stuff first. But then after the microdosing gets into the performance, where they say a microdose is from 50 milligrams to 250 milligrams, but it's a microdose is supposed to be sub-perceptual, but it becomes perceptual at about 200 or about 200 milligrams, and so you can play in this weird field at about 200 to 250, where you're kind of a little bit more elevated than usual, than maybe some would say is ethical at work, or while performing. But that's how athletes want to be. They want to be elevated. All of your senses are heightened. You are, your brain is protected, especially if you have a good microdose with something like a lion's mane to give a neuroprotectant. Your body's producing so many good chemicals. You're in the flow state. Your body's posture's better. Your breath is better. Everything cycles better, and you're a more creative athlete. You go for things. Your fear response is down. You're not gonna sit there and be afraid to go for moves that you've never done. If you've done a million times, you're gonna get it done, and you're gonna flow, and you're gonna see things coming and not freeze. If you study someone like I have in the past, you see their microaggressions in their body. You see the footwork, the breath work. You understand these things, and then how much you want to pay attention and how much you want to listen to me.
And I think specifically for what Tom does, no offense, Eddie, I know, listen, only one of you was bloody after a fight, after that, so... I think for bare knuckle specifically, this would be a huge benefit.
Yes. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. Like I said, I'm thoroughly intrigued and I'm interested. It's something that I've...
You know what? Oh my
I shouldn't
God,
say that I've researched it, but it's something I've been interested in for a long time. And, everybody's seen all the Joe Rogan podcasts and him talking about it. And, everybody, well, at least the people that I know have heard of guys like Paul Stamets who are big into the mushroom culture. So there are benefits all over the place. And if I can find legal, safe ways to boost my performance, I don't see any reason not to.
So one thing I would say, because you go into a fight now, there was something called the Berserkers. Okay, they were Vikings that were a tribe that would ingest a certain mushroom that is got muscimol in it. It's a little white and red mushroom.
Okay.
Now I've taken this before, but in a combination with other stuff. I need to take it on its own just to see how it affects the performance. But this was used to go into battle. So these guys would take a bunch of this and then they would go in and kill people, and slaughter, do Viking stuff. And you're doing bare knuckle boxing. You're trying to kill somebody. So maybe we could work something out. I would love to. Let's try it. You want to do an experiment?
Yeah, I'm in. Let's do this.
That's a question.
Okay. We're trying.
How many times are we gonna do this experiment? That's the real question. We gotta have like a constant, and we gotta test this out a few times.
I like how Tom just used constant. Like he's like, I got this science shit down.
Yeah, see, and the thing is knowing that, obviously knowing Jeff Davitsky and him being so close with me, that USADA doesn't test for psilocybin. They don't test for LSD. They definitely don't test for muscimol. So it should be fine with BKB. Do they do drug testing, or do they just not care? They just want you guys to kill each other.
I'm sure they've got a couple of guys in there that are roided to the gills, man. I wouldn't be surprised. But as far as I know, the only people they drug tested was Paulie Malignaggi and Artem Lobov. And they brought in an independent company to do it, and that was all she wrote. So
Connor paid for it.
probably.
Damn it! We've been through like 19 episodes without mentioning Connor. Son of a bitch.
Sorry. I personally like Connor. He just, it's always been nice to me, but I just had to jab at him for some weird reason. Sorry.
No, it's because of Artem. But
Okay.
that's the problem. You mentioned Artem, and you literally just go straight to Connor. Like, that's
Yeah.
how...
Right?
Everybody's got to have a sidekick.
And I don't even not like Artem. Like, he's nice. He's always been nice to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything personal against a lot of guys, but... Now Ian's got me doing, like, research on berserkers while you guys are talking.
He's Googling Amanita muscaria and doing all the research. I actually have... I don't know if you've ever read this or not, but this is a great book. You guys should check this out.
Well, if Ian would do the one thing I asked him to and have good internet.
But he'll come back. But this book is wild.
Sacred mushroom.
Sacred Mushroom and the Cross.
Sacred Mushroom and the Cross. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, and it's by
That's what I got.
John
Those called
bro.
books.
What's that?
Those are called.
Are those called books? Yeah, bro. These
Okay.
Yes.
I just had to make sure that that's what those are called.
Yes. But it's wild, man. It's all about this. It's about essentially the pagans trying to hide their mushroom worship in different stories and different allegories when the Romans came in and sacked everything. And it's about how essentially the Christian religion could be misinterpreted as a pagan mushroom cult. It's a pretty gnarly book.
Damn, that went deep.
Went from mustaches to mushrooms.
Hey, sometimes that's just what happens when Uncle Creepy jumps on. He's got a full blown beard. You can't recognize him anymore.
Yeah, right?
We gotta bend with the wind on this one.
Right.
Can you guys even hear me?
I can hear you.
We
We can't
can
see
hear
you.
you. We can't see you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in Laguna Beach, so I'm on PCH, so it's never good service here.
It's all right.
He
All I
doesn't-
asked was for
He
good
doesn't want to make us
Wi-Fi.
all jealous with his beautiful views, so he just turned the camera
Yeah,
off.
he's like,
Wouldn't want to see it. I'm driving by the Montage Hotel, and it's all smoky, and it's like depressing.
I think only you two saw that. It's okay. Listen, it's bad because the only thing I read anymore is MMA books. And I know that's terrible, but
There's books on MMA.
listen, I sent you that picture of that Shamrock book.
Oh yeah, well I mean like the thing is when my friends write books, I don't read them because I'm in those stories and like I don't read your books.
Well, everybody's gonna read your book when it gets
I don't know,
written.
it's- It is.
McCall, man.
People are gonna read it.
I'm with it.
Yeah, believe me, there's just a lot more coming, so we're gonna have to wait a while because I've got some really cool stuff coming on right now, like that whole first chapter of my life. Maybe gloss over that.
No. That's gonna be the best part. That's gonna be the best part. So keep in mind, so Ian and I, we've been talking since 2011, I think. So we have hours of conversations that have never made it to like the world. So I don't know if we've ever said this on camera, but I'm actually working on his book. So that's why, yeah.
Yeah. Have we ever said it? I don't know. I've told people.
I've told people, but I don't think I've ever said it to like other people in the industry.
So now it's public.
Yeah, public. Official Mustache Mafia announcement. Teaming up with the Beard Brigade. Quiggins is writing a book. It's going to be called The McCall Method. And if you don't like it, you can get fucked.
See, Eddie, you thought you were going to be the only one offending people tonight.
That's all right. That's all right. That's what we're here to do.
Precisely.
Oh, man. This went way, way left field, and that's the best thing ever.
I'm with it. So, Eddie, when are you going to finish your house, bro?
Good question.
When are you going to fight
All right.
again?
Are they ever
All right, slightly different question. Are you planning on finishing your house before you get into camp, or do you think that's something that's going to have to wait?
No, it'll have to wait. I got a few more doors. I haven't started any of the trim on the inside.
I like it. You guys started talking about houses, and Ian's like, I'm out.
all the smart guy stuff left with him. You want to talk some dumb shit,
dude?
You got the right guy here.
The craziest part about it is
we can vibe on this, man. I work carpentry now, so yeah. I know everything that you're saying.
I haven't started any of the trim. I still got 5 more doors to do yet, and of course the doors we're doing, they all need to be stained in polyurethane. We couldn't just go with a pre-finished door, so
that would be too easy.
Each door takes a good couple of days just on its own. The trim, I got most of it stained, but I still got to poly it all. Haven't put it all down. Like I said, that's my burden. Is I'm capable of doing this stuff. I'm capable of building a car. I'm capable of doing home remodels. I'm capable of doing a lot of manly shit. So therefore,
that makes one of us.
Well, that's where this comes into play. All about doing man shit. But,
right.
I have this. I refuse to pay somebody to do something that I can do myself. It's gonna get done faster if they do it. It maybe get done better, but
there's a sense of accomplishment that comes with that.
Man. That too. I'm cheap. B, I can do the work. So why not just save that money and either spend it somewhere else or just save it?
So I'm going to use the only example I have. So my first car was an 89 Bronco 2. And the guy who owned it, destroyed the clutch. So, of course, 16-year-old me, 15-year-old me, learning how to drive it, didn't go so well.
Smoke the clutch.
So my friends are like, I call around, and the guy quotes me $636. And I'm 16 years old working at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I can't afford that. And my buddy goes, just buy the clutch. He goes, and we'll put it in. And I was like, what are you going to charge me? He's like, pizza. So I was like, okay. The clutch was $127. Pizza was $27. It took 2 months for them to put it in.
2 months?
It gets better.
Was it worth your $27?
No. So they take the clutch plate out, and it's literally ground down to nothing. The cogs are even gone. Everything is destroyed.
Yeah.
They put the new one in. I get in my car. I go from first to second. Doesn't work. Slave cylinder was bad. So that was $400. So hindsight, I should have just paid the $636.
And have it fixed.
It would have been done in a week. Dude, that's my favorite car of all time. I got 23 miles to the gallon. I didn't have
a new one now. They got new Broncos out.
Dude, I'm on the fence. I finally I've never owned a new car. I've never had a car payment. I've bought all my cars outright because I'm I don't want to deal with it.
Yep.
And I finally got I finally got 2 years ago the car I wanted. And I see the Bronco come out, but they've also been announcing the Bronco since 2012. It's coming out this year.
Yep.
Oh, it's coming out this year.
It's coming out this year. No, next year. It's coming out this year.
And now they're like, oh, $50, you reserve one. And I'm like, I don't necessarily. Yeah.
No.
But I love that thing.
I'm the same way with car payments, man. I won't buy a new. Not that I won't buy a new car, but I'm not. If I have to have a car payment, I'm not. I drive a 2005 Toyota Corolla. I've got $2,800 in the thing. I'll drive it till the wheels fall. It's got 95,000 miles on it. Change the oil on it. Do the maintenance on it.
You have a 2005 that only has 98,000 miles on it?
Yeah. I bought it from a family friend. Her mom had just passed. It was down in Florida.
Oh.
It got shipped up here, and she drove it for a few miles. And then they got a PT Cruiser or whatever gifted to them, so they decided they were going to sell that. Like I said, I think I maybe got $3,000 in the car. And I said, I'll drive it till the wheels fall off. It's got a cracked windshield. I'm not spending $130 to get it fixed. I don't care.
See, if you lived in Florida, the windshield deductible is $0, so you could get that fixed.
The windshield was my fault.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. When I had the car, I was driving down 94 and it kicked up a rock. had this little tiny one of those things where you could take and they fill them with the little glass filler in there, and they call it good. Well, of course, I'm not going to do that. And then the heat, the hot and the cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, and it just started eventually.
Yeah, it's spider cracks. Yeah.
Windshield. Yep. So, cracked windshield, $130. Yeah.
You can buy some weights with that $130.
Exactly. I can think of some better things to do with $130 and buy a windshield.
Yeah.
And I think that's
right
a testament to who you are, though, as far as doing things yourself. Because there's some things where I'm like, it's like buying something on Amazon or buying something and being like, do you want to pay to have it assembled or do you want to do it yourself? Like, no man is like, I want to pay to have it assembled. You're like, I can do this shit.
Yeah, you get the thing, you throw the instructions away and just go to town.
No, you can only do that if it's IKEA. Because IKEA is, here's all the parts, here's it done. Have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that it goes. I think that it goes a long way as far as like just general confidence in your persona, being able to do things like work on a car or work on a house or defend yourself in a street fight, you know, like those things. I mean, you know, Matt, like you do jiu-jitsu. So, you know, with the more confidence you build on the mats, the more it helps progress into other aspects of your life. And then you start getting accomplishments in those other aspects, and it just helps build your confidence as a human being, but it also kind of helps build you as a human being. You know, it's like, look, not only do I don't have to resort to fighting. Like, I can fix cars, I can build houses, I can do any number of things, and I learned how to do it myself because I had the forward drive to do so.
Well, and now we have YouTube.
Such a different standard for you.
It sends you off on all different tangents. You know, like you said, it's the confidence side of things. Once you get a little bit of confidence, oh well, I think maybe I could do that. You try it and realize, well, shit, yeah, I can do it. Well, can I do this? Yep. Can I do that? So then it becomes a test. What exactly can I do? What exactly can't I do? You know, that's how I see it. I like to test myself and let's see, can I do this? Can I not do this? Either I'm gonna do it and it's gonna be awesome. I'm gonna do it. It's gonna suck, or I'm just gonna fail miserably.
Yep. Yeah. But either way, you fucking tried, and you're not scared of it. You know, that's the biggest thing. Is it just there's that saying that like everything you want is on the other side of fear, and like in a roundabout kind of way, it is. You know, like if you're scared to do something, you don't do something. You don't take those chances. I think Michael Jordan said that you miss every shot you don't take. Yep. That's precisely it. You know, you start pushing yourself and testing yourself. You're gonna find those boundaries, and it makes you a better person, in my opinion.
Sure.
Well, and I think it's the extra accomplishment. So, like, a few weeks ago, we got an island, you know, a rolling island for the kitchen, and every review was like, this took 4 to 5 hours to do, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm dreading this. Like, this sounds awful. And I have 80% of it done in 30 minutes. And I'm like, this is great.
That's when you start questioning, am I doing this right?
So no.
What's going on here?
Hold on. There's an oh shit moment. So I start putting together the drawers, which are the last part of it. And there are 16 screws to put together the drawers. And I put it together, and I go to put it in, and it doesn't fit. And I'm like, what? And I realized that the instructions show you the drawer upside down. And I missed that part. And I did it this way. So that was another, hour of taking everything apart.
It's all coming together now.
So now you understand why it takes 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, but I'm like, had I not done that wrong? But it was one of those things where I'm like, yeah, but, but it's the same thing in jiu-jitsu. 2 nights ago, I pulled a sweep that when I did it, I just sat on the ground after the sweep happened, like, oh shit, I gotta move.
That actually worked. I should do something.
I was like, I can't tell you the technical term, but one of our brown belts out of the academy, we had this joke where it was called air Quiggins, because when I first started out, like first white belt, I mean, he still throws me around, but he doesn't throw me around as much. He would just use my weight so much against me, and I mean, he weighs half of what I do. And I learned so much.
Now you know what it's like doing the fucking upper body work with Eddie.
And I did the sweep on a white belt on Wednesday, and I grabbed the back of his ankle with my left hand, and I had my right foot on his hip, and I went, there's no way this is about to work. And I pushed at the same time, and he fell over, and I just sat on the ground. Like, and I've like jumped up.
I'm supposed to do something.
Yeah,
that works.
Right. Yeah. I didn't think that was gonna work. Oh man.
But
I didn't have a follow-up plan for that.
But it's just like with Eddie with the doors. Like every time I walk in and I see the island, I'm like, I built that shit. Like I built that, and you're gonna do that every time with the doors in your house, the trim, everything.
Oh, that's exactly. Yeah. That's when somebody asks, the outside stuff. We did an attached garage. We did a giant ass like a 4 Seasons room and deck and blah blah blah. All the outside stuff, I contracted that to a couple of buddies, just because I'll say part of it was beyond my scope of work.
That's another thing. You have to be humble.
I just didn't have the time to do it. The pole barn that I have, I built my old pole barn by myself. I mean, it took me 2 months to do it by myself. The guy that I contracted for this, it took the jack off 7 freaking months. 7 months for a crew to build a pole barn. That if that's what you do, you should have it done in like 3 or 4 days. Like legitimately a week.
Right.
You should have it done. It took this freaking guy 7 months. Hindsight's 20/20. I should have just done it myself. But again, I was tied up on the inside here. So it is what it is.
That's wild. 7 months for a pole barn.
7 months for a pole barn.
I just renovated an entire house, and it took we estimated it at 6 weeks. It took us 10, which obviously was way over the estimate. But still, how can we renovate a whole house in 10 weeks? And you can't even put a barn up.
Dude, I still got every single text that dude ever sent me because there was an excuse for this day. I'm gonna be here that day. Oh, I can't show up this day. There was an excuse here, excuse there. It's like, dude, finally it came down to either come and finish my barn, give me the remaining money back, or I'll take an alternate means and we'll get this figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 7 months later, nice. Eddie had a barn.
Yeah, 7 months later, I had a barn. Exactly. It is what it is, though. But I enjoy being able to tell people that I did it. We're building. I'm a car guy. I know Tom knows, but for those of you who don't know, I'm a car guy, and I'm building a 1964 Chevy 2 station wagon, and
I just died a little bit.
It's got a 1,000 horsepower LS motor in it, no big deal. But
no big deal.
me and a buddy of mine, we bought this thing, or I bought this thing. I had a Mustang, and it was a 2-seater. Well, I got 2 little kids, so I'm not gonna go drive a 2-seater
this is
Mustang
important.
with a roll cage in it.
This is important. And, what year Mustang?
It was a 93.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, anyway. At least it was a notchback. But I got away from that. Now I got a 64 Chevy too. So, but like I said, I got 2 doors and 4 people in the family, and we go everywhere as a family. So, do the math. I mean, yeah, I strap Jack and Sam in the front seat in their car seat every once in a while. Latch them to the roll cage and do a couple of burnouts. But so my buddy, he suggested that, well, why don't you look for something with 4 doors? Well, that's not cool. Well, why don't you get a station wagon? Well, that's not cool. Well, then I found out Chevy 2 makes a station wagon, and I saw a Chevy 2 station wagon that was built as like a drag car that just looked bad as hell. I need that. So
he said, "I need it."
I went and bought one. It was sitting on the side of a garage. I mean, it had been sitting for a while, bone stock, and we cut the entire frame out of it, put a whole back half in it, put a whole front half in it, 16-point roll cage. It's got 4 doors, 4 seats, but it's not done yet. It's still sitting in my barn. But when I drive that thing, and people go, "Well, oh, where'd you buy this from?" Well, I didn't buy it. I built it. All that roll cage, all that tin work, all the framework, that's all me. I did that. I didn't pay somebody to do that. I bought it. I bought it. No, I built it.
You put the work into it. And keep in mind, I love cars.
Yeah.
And I just had to look up what that was, because I'm like, really? They have the station wagon? Because ideally,
yep.
I'd love to restore a 67 Shelby. And if I'm being very specific, I'd like to restore a 64.5 Mustang. Just because it's the first year it came out, and it's like the only car that has a half year for when it came out. But for me, like, Mustangs up until 78, 79, I still love them.
Yeah, they got a little ugly there.
After the 80s, the 90s, I don't like them now.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like they have the same. They don't have the same love for the car.
I like the Fox bodies. I do like the Fox bodies, but I don't like them as much as I used to because everybody and their brother's got one.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got a Fox body with an LS. I was one of them. So
it's okay.
Everybody does Fox body LS crap.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like now this is obviously going to change the direction of the conversation ever so slightly.
I mean, we've been
I feel like
from mushrooms to
those Fox bodies started to
Mustache.
get really popular when like the WRXs and the Subarus and all that stuff started coming. Like somebody needed something small and compact that could keep up with those cars, and everybody wanted a Mustang. So it's like, oh, Fox body's just the way to go. I feel like that was what kind of shot the popularity of those cars through the roof. And now when I was like you guys in the past, I'm like, oh yeah, Fox body, that's nice. And then like every car that drives by is a Fox body. You're like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Like, all right, yeah, I've seen it, you know?
Yep.
On a side note, did either of you see Ford versus Ferrari?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man. Excellent movie.
A buddy of mine said it was pretty good. He's a big Ford guy. He's the guy who's helped me build my car. He's got a 1951 F100. Same thing. He bought the body. Oh yeah, dude, it's bad. He's got a John Cossey 598 twin turbo motor. He's building it. He's building it right now. Right now, it's got a 460 twin turbo in it, but he's building a 598. They said on the motor alone, it's 11 to 1200 horse.
Jeez.
Then you throw a little bit of boost at it. You're looking 1500 to the tire. It's serious. He bought it.
Peel your face off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's a serious truck. I mean, it's a 31 by 18 Hoosiers out the back. It's fully caged. Everything he built, same thing. He built everything himself. He had the body, did the 2x3 steel box frame, framed everything in it. Dude, it's unbelievable truck.
The important question: does he have white wall tires on it?
No. No, it's got Hoosiers. It's the Slick and Skinny's car. He also built for his wife. They have it's a 1965. It's the Factory 5 Shelby kit car.
Oh.
Dude, same thing. It's a 347 dark block with a stroked Ford with a twin turbo in it. It's awesome. It's bad.
I'm just gonna say right now for anybody who thought this was gonna be about MMA, you're sorely mistaken. I
was about to say we need to call my buddy Logan, man. My buddy Logan. I don't know how much you guys follow like webcasts and stuff like that, but my buddy Logan builds cars out in Tennessee for a company called Clapped Out, and it's him and like two of his friends, and they build some of the most outrageous cars I've ever seen in my life. But I was just thinking we should call him and get him on this bad boy because you guys we're all in this car talk right now. We get him in here and he's gonna blow us out of the water with some of the things he's got. Man.
Listen,
ridiculous.
Man, you've got the link, and Ian decided Laguna Beach was too pretty for us. So keep in mind, Ian is probably the only fighter I can give shit to and not worry about him kicking my ass. So like that's. Like
when you know somebody for almost 10 years, you should be able to put a few jabs out there and not have to worry about things coming back at you.
Well, and the same night that Eddie fought and he fought, I had texted him and I said, "Hey, what hotel are you staying at?" And he told me, and we were like looking down the street at it, and I remember texting him going, I had been writing for like 2 years, I had been like in the sport for 3. Like, one of the first fights I saw was, Faber and Mike Brown 2. Like, on a WEC wreckage, and it was the same one with Cub Swanson and Jose Aldo with that double flying knee. And I remember just going, whoa, like, this is awesome. And I remember...
What am I getting into?
Yeah, and I remember Ian was like, I'm like, can we come to the hotel? He's like, yeah, come on up to my room. And I'm like, what? So I'm with, like, 2 of my friends. Like, it was the first fighter I had met in person. So for me, I was like, I don't know how this is going to go. We had talked a couple times. And I remember he opens the door and he sticks his head out. And that was the day I learned how, like, tiny Ian is. Like, he's a small guy. Like, I'm 5'9", 5'10" on a good day. He's tiny. And I remember him opening the door, and he starts introducing me to people in the room. He's like, oh, yeah, this is my coach, this. And he goes to point to the third guy, and it's Jiva Santana. And I was like, yeah, I know who you are. Like, I am well aware who you are. And we hung out for like 2 hours, and I just remember like holding back every fanboy moment and trying to be professional. And I laugh because this is the hat I was wearing that night. I still have it. It's beat to hell, as you could see. But that was the day. That was like the day I learned like there was way more to fighters than I ever expected, and than I ever even thought.
Oh yeah.
And I mean,
people don't realize they don't realize that people like Tom and myself. Okay, yeah, we go and fight people, but that's what we like to do. But we also put our pants on one leg at a time. You know, every once in a while I'll get froggy and try to jump as high as I can, and stuff them both in there at the same time. But it never ends well. I was flat on my ass.
I usually go face first.
I was waiting for like a Christopher Walken, Bruce Dickinson moment there. You're like, I put my pants on one leg at a time, just like the rest of us. Except once my pants are on, a bloody piece of people's faces up, you know?
No, I remember being at one of the fan expos in Vegas, and I was signing for Head Rush at the time, and this couple, they had walked up, and we were talking, and they looked down there and watched. Oh my God, it's been 45 minutes. I'm sorry, we're taking up your time here, but what do I care? I mean, you guys are the reason that I'm here. I'm here for the fans.
Right.
I mean, without the fans, there is no MMA. There is no sports. If there's nobody to support it, what's going to hold it up? You know. So who am I to say? Who am I to say that? Okay, you support me, but I'm not going to talk to you, and I'm not going to sign anything for you. And when I was signing for Head Rush, I think I was signing for my slot was an hour. I think I stayed for like 3.5 hours because by the time I was done, the line was still. And I looked at the guy and said, dude, I can't leave. I can't leave. All these guys are standing right here. They're standing here because they want a signature. I'm not going to deny them a signature. Who am I to do that? I got nowhere to be. I got absolutely nowhere to be. So let's do this. I'll stay here all day if I have to. And
see, that's like one of the good guy moments. Because I feel like you don't get that anywhere else. You know, movie stars, other athletes. I didn't mean to not call you guys athletes, but you know what I'm saying. Like the mainstream.
Sure.
You know, you got a time slot of 45 minutes. That's it. You know, you've got security guards blocking people over. And it's like last Friday in Daytona, you know, I saw Tom 3 different times during the night. And I remember that, you know, the first time I said hello and I walked by him and I said, he has no idea who I was. And then I remember I saw him walking towards the back and I said,
you take the women's underwear off your face.
And I said, Tom, is that you? He goes, I don't know. Who's asking? And I was like, it's Matt. He's like, then that is indeed me, Tom. And he came back out. But that's why I love this.
People get intimidated. They get intimidated to approach you, and I'm always mind blown that somebody sees me as famous or a celebrity or, dude. I live in the middle of a cornfield in Indiana. I drive a 2005 Corolla with a cracked windshield. Who the fuck am I?
Yeah. No, I have the same feeling, man. It very similar to what Eddie was saying. Like, I tell people all the time that, like, promotions are just a good idea, but they're nothing without fighters. At the same token, the fighters are nothing without the crowd and the fans and the show, you know? So I feel the same way that Eddie does, you know? Like, you guys took time out of your day to go to work, to make money, to buy a ticket, to come see me. So you're taking hours out of your life to support me. The least I can do is take some time to shake your hand and, you know, give you a fist bump or a high five or something like that.
No fist bumps.
Show some. Not after the fight. Before the fight, I'll fist bump you all day. After the fight, not so much. But yeah, you know, like it would be selfish of us not to do that, because like Eddie was saying, like we're regular people. You can literally see my whole apartment right now. Like, that's my bedroom. This is my living room. That's my kitchen. Like, I'm a regular dude who puts his pants on one leg at a time, and I happen to fight people. You know, like that's it. Like, there's nothing special or grandiose about it. Like, I'm good at violence. You know, like, come talk to me, please. Socialize me a little more because I need it.
Oh, I get yelled at by my wife all the time because I talk too much. she hates going places with me because it's we are going to be stuck in a conversation with somebody. I don't know who. It's anybody. I could sit and talk to a freaking wall for hours. You know, she just I'll be sitting there talking to somebody and my phone will go off. It's her. Would you shut the fuck up?
So that'll happen. Like
I love Amber for just that. She's the realest you need in your life. You know, just like, babe. Like, I appreciate you, but seriously, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. I've done that where I had a 30-minute conversation with somebody at the mall, and I walked away, and my girlfriend goes, "Who was that?" I said, "I don't have a clue." I said, "But they recognize me," and so I mean, I can hold a conversation with anybody. Now,
numerous times.
The intimidation factor. Well, I'm gonna try something here. I'm gonna see if this works. Because I let Tom set everything up with you, Eddie.
Yeah.
But I want to see if your phone goes off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
So I've had your number, and I could have been texting you, but I was like, Tom's gonna usher this in. He's gonna make this work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and some people are like that. Some people, no, don't talk to me. I don't have time. You know, and I'm sorry, but that guy's an asshole. Yeah. And I refuse to be an asshole. I don't like assholes. I'm not going to be an asshole. I'm not going to be the guy that I don't like. So, I got time for anybody, honestly. You know,
and
as long as it's not taking important time away from my family, I got time.
Yeah, and I mean, there's some times where you just have to respect it, and it actually works out because, obviously, being in Florida, being in the Tampa Bay area, the Lightning just made it to the Stanley Cup playoffs. Go Bolts. I was at a restaurant the other day, and I don't know if either one of you watch hockey or watch hockey in the last 20 years.
I watch a good hockey fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning, the captain of the Tampa Bay Lightning was sitting at the table next to me at a restaurant I went to the other day. I didn't say a word to him because I was like, you know what? He looks relaxed. He's not getting mobbed right now. Like, it's one of those things where there's a time and a place. Like, I see you out at McDonald's, which if I see you at McDonald's, Eddie, we're going to have a talk, and I'm going to shame the shit out of you.
You lied to me.
He's in the corner eating a quarter
Walk
pounder.
up, touch him on the shoulder, like, let me guess.
But there's a time and a place. When I told my girlfriend, she goes, "You didn't go up and ask this, talk to him?" I was like, "No." I was like, he was having a business meeting. He looked like he was like in the zone. I said, just let him be. But I mean, I did the same thing.
I'm even like further than that. Like, if that were me, please, let's do this. You know? That's fine.
You look over, we make eye contact. You're like,
yeah. It's funny because there's been a couple times that I did that, and dude, total foot and mouth. This guy, like, they were staring. It's like, okay, they know who I am. And I walk up to them, "Did you want a picture?" And they're like, "Dude, what?" I've done that before, man. They'll be looking. It's like, okay, these guys, these dudes, they gotta have an idea. Like I said, I walk up to them. Did you want a picture, or all you gotta do is come ask? He's like, "Dude, what are you talking about, man?"
I can honestly say that I've never had that moment, but what I have had, and I've told Eddie this a couple of times, is I've gone out rocking my Mustache Mafia shirt with my mustache, and I got full sleeves, and I'll be out at, like,
oh, God.
I don't know, wherever, watching the fights, just watching the fights, and I'll have people come up and be like, "Eddie, let me get a picture, bro. Eddie, let me get a picture." I'm like, I'm not Eddie, but I will totally take a picture with you.
Now let's flip the script here because what was it, 2 years ago, walking at the Lake County Fair, I had the Mustache Mafia shirt on, and some guy goes, "Hey, Tom Shoaff. Where's Tom?
Yeah, you're like looking around like
little bit of payback from the hooligan days. I'm gonna get bent over here."
That was okay. So now we got to tell the story.
Okay, hold on. Before you get into that, That has only happened to me once. So there was this dude a few years ago who made iPhone cookies in New York and then got pulled over by the cops, and they're like, "You're on your phone," and he took a bite of it, and he's like, "I'm eating a cookie." And I was at Busch Gardens, and there's a couple, and they're looking at their phone, and they're looking at me. They're looking at their phone, they're looking at me, and they went, "Is this you?" And I was like, "No," and they're like, "Sorry," and walked away.
I don't know how to make cookies. I don't make cookies, sorry.
It's fantastic.
All right, so what's the story, Tommy? What do you got?
So, first time I ever meet Eddie, I go out to Indiana to hang out with some friends, and we decide we're going to go to this place and get some drinks afterwards. And it's about a week or two before my fight. I think it's like 2 weeks before my fight. So I wasn't drinking, but I was just out hanging out with the guys, with everybody. And as soon as I walk in, I see Eddie. And he's at the bottom of the stairs. He's hanging out. He's having a good time. I walk up. I just say, "Hey, man, like, I trained with Darren. I just want you to know I'm a big fan. I just wanted to say it was nice to meet you, but I'll leave you alone." He's like, "Oh, cool. Thanks, man." And he went on and did his thing. About 30, 40 minutes later, I go walking up the stairs, and upstairs there's like it's kind of like a loft setting. Like, you go upstairs, and the center is wide open, but there's railings all the way around, and you can like sit and hang out and have drinks, so on and so forth. So I go to walk around.
I like how we're getting a visual with this.
I go to slide by this railing. Oh, yeah, you need the visual. You need the visual.
Listen, your kitchen has horrible Wi-Fi.
So there's a railing here,
Get close to the Wi-Fi.
and I go to like walk around it, and Eddie's right here. What about my Wi-Fi?
Yeah, you're
too far away from the Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
all right, fine. We'll go over here. Fuck it. So I go to slide by, and I turn and face the outside, and Eddie is behind me. As I turn and slide by, next thing I know, I'm bent over the railing, and somebody is humping me from behind. I freak out, stand up, what the fuck? And it's Eddie and our strength and conditioning coach, Jason, and one other guy, and they're just dying laughing. And of course, it's two big swole dudes and Eddie. So I turn around and I'm like, all right, motherfucker. All right, whatever. That's good for you. And I just walk on, man. But yeah, that was my first experience being out in a social situation with Eddie. And I got to be honest, not much has changed, because every time we're together, he just embarrasses me just consistently. When we're picking up weights, or when he's showing off his mustache, or whatever the case may be, his tattoos. It's just Eddie's always got his stories. He's always got to one-up me.
Listen,
no,
go ahead, Eddie. I'm just trying to process.
That was Jason and I. Anytime we'd go out to the bar, it was never go out to the bar to dance with the girls. It was we would go out to the bar, push all the girls out of the circle, and bring as many dudes in as we could.
Yeah, that sums up that whole experience.
We would take the chalkboard. I don't know. It was like a 3 foot tall by 2 foot wide chalkboard, and we would write VIP on it, and grab 4 ropes that were maybe 8 feet each, and make our own little VIP section. And only certain people were allowed in.
They were good times.
Yeah.
Good times. Yeah.
I'm almost afraid to share this, but I have a similar story, but it doesn't involve Eddie.
Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah, well, I mean, Eddie and I have never actually met. Tom, you and I have actually met, I think you and I have met more times than, almost as much as me and Ian, so that tells you something. It's just timing.
Fair enough.
You keep fighting in Tampa, or, in Florida. It was only a 4-hour drive up there, so.
I'm going to make it happen. You better believe it.
So,
they already called me to come back, man. They want me to fight again. They wanted me to fight again on October 14th, or October 10th. I was like, bro, I can't punch anything right now. You want me to get 2 weeks of training? No, I'm sorry, I can't do that.
So
anywho,
I'm in high school. I'm in a group of friends. We're all talking in between classes. And the next thing I know, there's a dude humping my leg. Straight up just duh. And I'm and I turn around, and he realizes at that point I'm not who he thought I was. and he looks me dead in the eye, and I'm like, I'm not violent, but I'm like, my fists are coming up. Like, should I be like defending myself? I was in like 10th grade, and he looks me dead in the eye and goes, "Hi, I'm Chris." like that was perfectly normal to do.
No, you know how you address that situation, right?
Please tell me.
You grab a whole handful and just as aggressively as you can air hump the shit out of him.
All right. Okay. Yeah, like established dominance.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Are you okay? I'll show you how we do this.
I can do.
This is how it's done.
Well, Tom knows I've thrown 2 punches my entire life. So
yeah, I really liked his story about the first punch that he ever threw.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even really a punch. I think that was the best part about it. I could let him tell the story, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna tell it.
I want to hear this.
He got into an issue on the school bus, man, and went to swing on this dude, and then just stopped mid-swing and was like, "I guess you're not worth it," and turned around and walked away. All right, yeah.
All right.
I'm with it.
So first of all, let's talk about the fact that Tom remembered that almost perfectly.
Almost, man. I'm pretty good.
After being in a fight
I get hit
last
head
week.
a little bit,
Yeah.
but not too much.
So the punch got thrown, and right before it landed, my hand just opened up in his face. And I just looked at my hand and I was like, I guess you're not worth it. And I turned around and sat back down.
He didn't talk to the hand. That's what he did.
He pulled the John Jones before John Jones. That's what that was.
No, the John Jones, that's the John Jones.
Yeah, but I mean, you tried.
Yeah. Listen, man, I leave the fighting up to you guys, and it's, I mean,
That's
putting aside the journalist hat of it, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch both of you fight. Eddie, you've been fighting for a long, long time.
2003.
2003, yeah.
Oh yeah, April of 2003 was my first fight.
Yeah.
And he still just chomps his mouth guard every time he gets in there. Just
that's how you know it's about to get real.
Yeah.
That's Mark at New Breed. Anytime we do like sparring and training, I always, everybody always starts slow. It's like a girl fight, like a cat fight, okay, and then so I always start out slow, and then I get tagged. And then I start biting down on the mouthpiece, and that's what Mark says. Every time I see you bite down on the mouthpiece, I just sit there. Gotta watch. I know it's about to get good.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, going off records, both of you guys were on the unfortunate side of a loss. But you learned so much, and I wish Ian was on this because then Cheeto, destroyed O'Malley. And, those kicks. And I like to think, Eddie, you did a little bit of part of that. Like, you did some work on him, and it was just like waiting on him.
I'll be honest. If he wouldn't have caught me with that liver kick, that spinning back kick, I mean, dude, I felt like he split my liver in two. That was... I've never ate a body shot like that. I've taken body shots, and I can eat body shots. I've done it. I mean, look at my Manny Tapia fight. I flat up I gave him a free one in the middle of the fight.
Yeah.
That dude hit me. I thought I was okay, took a step forward. Realized my legs aren't going to work. Still telling myself I'm okay. Can't move forward. My legs don't move. Shit, I just got hit. I'm not okay. I mean, that was out of almost 40 fights. How many times have I stood directly in front of somebody and just let them hit me?
Yeah.
Never.
And I mean,
never.
Let's be honest. The last time you had someone finish you, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
You don't look like you're getting any older in there, which is crazy.
No, and that's again attests to Jason, the guy who Tom mentioned, my strength and conditioning coach. When I met him, I took on maybe not right away, but within a few years, I took on the train smarter, not harder mentality. And I feel like through doing that at 36, I'm in better shape than I was when I was 22. I mean, I did the 2009, 2019 challenge, whatever, post a picture of yourself. Well, I took the exact same photo of myself from 2009 in the UFC to 2019 when I fought Popov.
That was a great fight.
Dude, the difference was amazing. I mean, it was just the difference there was looked like a little boy with no muscle tone to a completely jacked and ripped fucking grown ass man. So aside from just trying to drag my dick in the dirt every day, which I did when I was 22, I could just pound it and pound it and pound it and pound it and just not stop. I can't do that at 36. And by not doing that, I feel like I'm actually better now because I'll take 3 days at working at 100% over 6 at 60. Because if I'm training my body 6 days at 60%, well, now my fight capacity is going to be 60% because that's what my body's used to working at is 60%.
Yeah.
I need to be used to working at 100. If I'm not used to working at 100%, now my 60% feels like, okay, I feel great. I feel good at 60%. And I get fucking whooped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm shaking my head like I know exactly what
man.
you're talking about, but I have no clue.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. There's a certain advantage to youth, and there's that old saying that youth is wasted on the young. Mm-hmm. But I really think that there's wisdom in age, and if as long as you don't just absolutely beat the shit out of your brain, once you get those first initial kinks out and you actually learn how to train properly and you learn how your body works and you learn the science behind what it is that you're doing, as long as you haven't destroyed your brain, you can do what Eddie's doing and be 50 fights into your pro career and still look way better than you did when you first started. But it is a science, and it does have to be calculated and meticulous. Yep. And I've obviously seen the fruits of his labor over the last handful of years just working with him. And yeah, like I was saying before, Eddie, I tell people this all the time. I said, Eddie fights at 135 pounds and he can body slam me. Like, the guy outlifts me in every lift that he does. Every lift that we do, he outlifts me. Every time, like, we have this, like, I forget what the hell it's called, the ATP, the belt squat.
Yeah,
we got this belt squat machine where basically it's a belt around your waist that pulls a tremendous amount of weight down. We usually put about 150 to 200 pounds on there. So Eddie's got that around his waist. He's walking, and then he's pummeling with me at the same time. And while he's doing this, he's just throwing me side to side. It's infuriating, but it's just tried and true proof that what he's doing is working. He's taking care of his body. He's taking care of his brain. He's putting 100% in and then getting the proper recovery afterwards and not beating his dick into the ground and running 60% the whole time. And you can see it. You can see it in his performance. You can see it in his athleticism, in his physique, in his brain, and his wherewithal. Like, it's all working. I'm looking forward to getting to that point in my career where I can start making those things click too, because it makes you a different fighter. If Eddie was still doing the things that he was doing when he was 25 years old, 28 years old, he probably wouldn't be fighting anymore.
So stop fighting at 165, Tom.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Not eating. Literally, I made weight by not eating breakfast. I got up that morning, went outside, hung out in the sun for a little bit, didn't eat breakfast, got on the scale, was 164 and a half. It's like, easy. Easy. So yeah, fighting at the proper weight class goes a long way.
Well,
yes, it does.
Weight classes have been, the discussion of things for so long, and people cutting too much weight. When back in the days when BJ Penn was fighting at 170, he was gaining weight to weigh 170. He wasn't cutting weight. You got guys like Tyron Woodley, Covington fighting tomorrow. They're probably weighing about 210. I would say is a safe estimate of what they weigh before they cut to 170.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Woodley's a big dude.
Yeah. I mean, I've stood next to Woodley. He's huge and tiny at the same time. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just like...
Yeah, it's very real. And a lot of guys are like that, man. A lot of guys are really... Like, their density is just astounding. It just doesn't make sense. Because you see guys that are like, oh, yeah, I fight at 170. You see a picture of them at 170, and then you see a picture of them at 210. And they almost look exactly the fucking same. It's like Melvin Gillard, great example. How the hell that dude used to make 55 is beyond me. But, like, you see pictures of him at 55 and you see pictures of him at 75, and you're like, that guy weighs the exact same. I don't care what anybody says.
Listen,
like, that guy weighs the exact same.
You want to talk weight cuts? Anthony Johnson.
Dude, I don't even want to
made
talk
170.
about him. Yeah. Dude, I don't even want to talk about him. And, like, I saw him in Mexico and he was 275 pounds, and I just looked at him. I was like, dude, how did you make 170? And he looked at me. It's like, that wasn't even me, man. It's like, that was a completely different guy. I don't know who that guy was, but he's like, I'm lucky to make 220 right now. Now he's walking at 220, and it's just terrifying.
Don't ask him about making 185 because he didn't make that. Sorry, Anthony. I think he came in at 197 against Belfort.
He made it when he was trying to get to 70.
Which is nuts. Like, that's basically like the two of you combined is what he was fighting.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling, and that's the thing that's really kind of startling about the sport now, man. To be honest with you, it's like you were talking about BJ Penn. He was gaining weight to fight at 170. You know, I mean, I'm essentially walking around fighting at 165, and you've got guys like that I fought. Joe, he came into the fight at 193 pounds. Jeez. You know, like that's weight that I can't move around at 165 pounds, like effectively. You know, I can compete with these guys, but I can't beat these guys when all we're doing is throwing the
you could see.
Hold on, I just want to show you something. I don't know if you saw this or not, but you know it's.
Yeah, I seen it.
Oh, yeah.
I heard that
shit. You might say those things, but that was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, and that weight, Tom. I mean, I've been hit by you before. I mean, I know at the end of your snap there's power. I mean, I've been hit by you in sparring. I know there's power. I know you hit hard, and it seemed like when you hit those dudes that are that size, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
okay. And they just
it's infuriating.
Right? That's what I'm saying. When you hit a dude who's legitimately your size, you're probably going to drop him.
Yeah.
If not, you're going to wobble him real hard, and the next shot's going to put him down.
Well,
For sure. No doubt about it.
I think in the same regard, the other way around, you get hit by somebody who's your size.
Right. You know, yeah, and I'm not getting leveled like I did on Friday. You know?
To me, out of all those fights, the most real moment of any of those fights was, I think, that last knockdown and you slamming the canvas with your hand, because that to me was not just like, well, shit, that was frustration, because you were like, I'm winning this fight, I'm winning this round,
was like, never hurt, never once hurt.
No. And
all
man,
knockdowns were a down up.
Yeah.
It wasn't a down. Okay, hold on. Where am I at?
Yeah.
It was a down, right back up.
Yeah, and that was the obviously frustrating part about it, but that was the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. It was like finally that revelation moment where it's like, look, like you can't keep doing this. Like I'm going like we were talking about. I was going out there and I was winning every second of every round of that fight, and I got clipped a couple of times and got put down.
Yep.
You know, or there were times, I think it was the second time, when we matched left hooks, and like he put me on my butt. You know, so it's those situations where it's like, yeah, it was unfortunate, and yeah, it's a loss. But I know now, you know, like not only can I compete with those guys, but that's not the point. Like I don't want to just be able to compete. I want to be great. Yeah. And if I want to be great, I need to be at my proper weight class fighting guys that I should be fighting. And that's the long and the short of it, you know. So that's where my focus is now, and that's kind of where we're directing the career from here. And I'm just gonna get better, man. That's the long and the short of it. I'm just gonna keep getting better.
And I think from losses, you know, talking to enough of you, a loss really does a lot for you, because it changes the mindset, it changes the direction. You took the Julian Lane fight weight class above where you fought, and you still had a great fight. You didn't get knocked out. You know, and Eddie, you weren't there for this, but after the fight, people are going up to Tom and Julian and trying to fist bump him, and they're looking at him like. So after the fight, I went up to Tom and I went, elbow.
Right. when you see your hand is that damn big.
And there's blood all over it.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of papers for me. People are coming up with the rock, and I'm like, nah, appreciate you.
Rock, I win.
But for you learned. I think you've learned, and I think you definitely understood this and processed this, but you've learned you can get hit by bigger dudes and take those shots. And like Eddie said, you know, you get knocked down, you pop right back up. You know, those were this far away from being slips. It's not taking anything away from Joe. but he was way bigger.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah,
But
no,
Joe,
I mean, he threw the punch, he landed the punch, he put me down. I'm not disputing that. But the point is that not like regardless of my ability to take the shots, I don't need to take the shots.
No.
You know, longevity is key in this sport first and foremost. So the less brain damage I suffer, the better. And then secondly, like if I can not take those shots and not absorb that damage, I can perform that much better later on. So, you know, regardless of ability, what it comes down to now is necessity. And my necessity is at 155 pounds. My necessity is with opponents my size. That's where my focus is, and that's where the necessity is.
Well, now you
like
now
I
you
said
have
before,
Eddie to
like
keep
you
you in
said,
check.
I've proved that I can compete with these guys. I've proved that I can get in there and fight these guys. That's not my end game though. Like I don't want to prove that I'm tough. People know that I'm fucking tough. I want to prove that I'm great. You know, that's my goal. That's where I want to be. So I need to be doing it properly. And as much as it sucked to take the L on this fight, regardless of how good the performance was, like now I know it is confirmed and it is locked in. I can't fight these big dudes anymore. I can't fight these big monsters anymore. I need to get my strength and conditioning on point, and I need to be down at 155 pounds where I'm supposed to be.
Who tried telling you that a long time ago?
Eddie Wineland tried talking to that long time
No,
ago.
Tom, the correct answer was Carlos Peppercrotch.
All right, Carlos Peppercrotch threw it at me a long time ago. But you know, it's one of those things, man. That like some people are really good at taking other people's advice about avoiding a mistake, and then other people gotta hit it head first and have scars, you know. And I'm one of those guys where it's like I've got the ego and I've got the mentality where it's like I don't give a fuck how like Julian Lane at 175 pounds or 170 pounds, let's go. Like I'll fight that fucking dude. Let's bang. Let's get it.
Yep.
You know,
Let's
same
bang,
with Joe.
bro.
Like if you want to call me at 165 pounds, let's get it. Like I'm with it. But that's my ego talking, and that's not my intellect. And I've finally gotten to the point where it's like, look, you need to put your ego to the side a little bit and use your intellect. Be a little smarter here. And you know, I might be able to go down in a history book at some point. Who knows? You know, but I got to be smart about it, especially with me getting closer to my prime. You know, I'm 31 years old, pushing 32. If I'm lucky, I got, you know, 5 more years of this if I'm intelligent about it. I've taken a lot of damage in the past, so as long as I don't take any more, I can keep this intellect and I can keep going and you know, do something great. But not if I'm fighting guys that are too big.
No. Well, and maybe if you your test subject with Ian, that might get somewhere. And I'm like, I'm not even kidding there. Like,
I'm gonna message him on Instagram as soon as we get done with this. I'm gonna be like, hey buddy, I know you thought I was bullshit, but I'm not.
what?
I'm all about being in a whole new ball field, man.
Yeah.
I'm all about that.
Yep.
Well, guys.
But yeah, are you about to call it quits? Because I'm feeling like calling it quits. I gotta get in the shower. I'm fucking stinking.
Dude, so first and foremost, as you saw in the hat, I gotta really get good at where I point at shit. This is actually my buddy's company. It's La Barba Cubana. It's a small batch beard company, and I went pumpkin spice because, you know, white girl. Why not?
You probably put cream in your coffee too.
Hey, fuck you! I like cream in my coffee.
Listen, I'll go straight.
But the next round of coffee cups on the handle are going to say black coffee only.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. That'll be the next one.
Listen, I'm fine with that, but I also used to do straight espresso shots, so like straight. So listen.
That's where that came from.
Yeah, that's where that came from. That's me drinking pop. Just because.
Nice.
Pop or red wine?
No, this is a.
I saw the ice cubes. You don't put ice cubes in red wine, Eddie. Come on.
It's a tiny little thumbnail. I'm having a hard time seeing it.
Fair enough.
All right.
Shazam.
All right. There we go.
All right, gentlemen.
So it's bullet
I
bourbon.
need to get out of here, get on the shower, get in the shower, off of here.
Get off the shower. Oh God. That's
but I'm
weird.
glad that we did this, Eddie. It was great to see your beautiful face, Matt. It's always great to see you, man. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna get out of here before you guys get out of here. But let's do this again. I had fun.
I'm never gonna say no to that.
All right, guys. Hasta luego.
Bye, Thomas.
All right, watch this. Wow.
Wow, I got bigger. Look at that.
So, Eddie, thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. That was awesome.
This is everything I wanted it to be. Like, it's an MMA podcast because you're fighters, but I don't want the same shit all the time.
We don't have to talk about fighting all the time. I mean, there's life outside of fighting. We do other things. I mean, yeah, it is a majority of our life, but we got other things going on in our life.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I absolutely appreciate it. Like I said, it's been way too long since we talked, and I feel like in this world, like I feel like if I wait too long, I feel awkward reaching out and being like, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in 2 years. Do you want to?"
No, as I said, I'm probably the most easily approached guy. I mean, it's anywhere, anytime. You're not bugging me. You're not rattling my cage. Shoot me a message, man.
I appreciate it. Well, first and foremost, got to thank Combat Press for giving me a platform. To put this up, Epic Jits Tees. That's the official logo and T-shirt. I got to get one of those Mustache Mafia shirts.
Yeah, shoot me. I'll shoot you. I get your number. I'll shoot you a text. We'll get y'all squared away.
Appreciate you, bro. And I mean, honestly, just thank you so much. Like I said, epicjitstees.com. They've got some cool stuff. Promo code QUIGS, QUIGGS. From myself, Eddie Wineland, Tom Shoaff, and Ian, who's cruising down the streets of LA, and I'm gonna give him so much shit about it. Matt Quiggins, Eddie Wineland, aka Carlos Peppercrotch, and I swear, for just one fight, just have that as your nickname.
That was I ran a half marathon under the name of Carlos Peppercrotch, and I actually placed in the half marathon. So the announcer actually had to call Carlos Peppercrotch to the stage. Can't make it up. That
is fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Eddie. This is probably one of the longest shows I've done, and I almost didn't want to stop it. But we got to save some for next time. So on behalf of myself, again, thank you for being part of that first experience I did have with the live UFC fight. I was 7 rows from the cage watching that. We all bought tickets, and we were I remember my buddy telling me about you, before we got there, because I knew you, but I didn't know you like he did.
Yeah.
And he was just like, watch this guy. Trust me. And I remember that 1-2, and I say I remember. I watched it 3 more times before we talked. Being one of the most violent and beautiful things I had ever seen in my life. And that's saying a lot. So getting off my fanboy pedestal there. I do appreciate you and everything you do. So thank you so much, Eddie.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.